Hi guys. So what I'm doing right now is something I don't really do that often. So I started reading this book and I got about this far. So I read about that much. And I just all the way through like the first fourth of this book, I wanted to read it out loud, like a bedtime story. I absolutely loved this book. And I had put some uh, what do you call it in English? I keep forgetting. Tabs where with parts that with quotes or things I liked and that sort of thing. And I started to realize two things. One, I want to keep reading this out loud, like not like a bedtime story for myself, but just like a cozy reading moment to myself, which means that I need to take my time with it. So I don't have that time when I have several books from the library to read. So I was like, okay, what date is it today? When is it due? Do I have time to order my own copy? Because what I wanted to do was I wanted to order my own copy, which I rarely do. I only do that with books that I really enjoy and that I know I want to reread, or that I know I want to annotate, or yeah. So, and this was like, I want to annotate it and I want to read it out loud, which never happens. So I was like, yeah, if I can get a book here within 2 weeks, I will have enough time to do what I'm doing right now. I have moved over my tabs, so I have like a few left. Well, this is actually tabbing for how much I needed to read per day before it's to read it before it's due, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. So I have one tab left to do. So I find that page, which is 107. And I used blue tabs because this uh, big paperback from the library is blue, so I chose blue tabs. This smaller paperback that I picked up for myself, because I don't care about right now. I don't care about special editions. I don't care about anything like that. I just love the story and I want it, so I picked up the cheapest version I could find here in Sweden. So I have this on the 107. I'm opening this to 107 as well. Where are you, little bugger? Here you are. So this is 107. And I see what did I want to tab? In one of his preternaturally quick moves, Jax dropped her wrist, pulled a jeweled dagger from his boot, and pricked the tip of his ring finger. Dark red blood glittered with impossible flecks of gold. And I remember when I read it, I got like a shiver. I was like, I don't know why. Just the description of it is so beautiful. So I tried to find the same in my smaller version here. I have found it, and I just put the tab there. And then, so this is supposed to be the last tab. So this is how far I've come, and I'm so glad I stopped. I stopped at 122, but I'm so glad that I stopped when I did, because 100 pages in a book with, I always check this apart, with 400 pages is something I can happily start over with and give myself time with. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to check this because it's a library book. So at the beginning, I always put how many pages it is, which date it's supposed to be back at library, and then if I read a little bit every day. How many pages do I need to read a day before it's due? And then because I don't like to be stressed and don't like to be in a situation where I have this like it's the day before I go to the library and I realize I have a whole book left to. I don't like returning books that I haven't read or tried to read. So every time I hold books from the library, I go through how many pages it is, how many days I have until then, and then I set a goal on how many pages total do I need to read before all of these need to get back to get through them all. So I have, like, in Sweden we say a hum, at whom, about how far I've come each day. So when I first borrowed this book, I needed to read 33 pages a day to be finished before it was due. So I removed these because I want to return it to the library in the state that I found it. And then I removed these 2 tabs that I just put at the bottom here, that stated if I read. So I had like a goal of reading 120 pages a day in total to be able to read all of the books I had home from the library in time. So I remove this that tells me I needed to reach a certain page, and then there's another one. So I needed to finish this book in 3 or 4 days and get to the next one if I wanted to read it all at once, which I felt when I started it that I wanted to, and then I started reading out loud and I was like, no, I can't do this. I need it. In Swedish, I would say villhöver, which isn't a proper word. It's just a mix between want and need. Vill ha is want and behöver is need. So you just squish them together and say villhöver. So at the end of the book, I keep track of all the characters as they enter, because I'm going to put it at the front of this book. So I put it there. No, I don't. I put it at the back as well, I think. So I put it at the back. I have 2 post-its with the people with names of characters. Because I tend to remember all the characters when I read a book, of course, but not afterwards. I tend to just be like, oh, what was the name of the Prince of Hearts? Oh, right, Jax. What was the name of her, the main character? Because the main character's name in a book with a point of view from the main character rarely states the main character's name enough for me to really get it in my mind. So I then need to have it written down so that when I go through my reading journal, I don't have to be there like, oh my God, what was the name of the person and the books at the library? How will I know then? And then start Google or whatever. I don't have to do that if I just put the character's name on post-its and put it in the book. And then when I return the book, before I return, so this is my kind of ritual. When I return a book, before I return a book, I sit by my computer and I download a picture of the book and I open a document and I put the picture of the book, I put the title, the name of the book, the author, which days I read it, like from this date to this date. And then if it's a translated book, I put the translator's name in there as well. And then I go through, if I have tabbed the book, I pick out the tabs and I put in my document what I tabbed and where. Sometimes with a comment. Sometimes it's just haha, and sometimes it's my reaction was, and then I write the reaction. So that when I then, because that's why I do it on my computer first, because when I sit down with my reading journal, that is like in real life reading journal, I want peace. I want quiet. I want a cup of tea. And I want to do it just you know, I don't want to be stressed, and I don't want to feel stressed to put that little. I'd rather have like an hour of reading journal time once a month or twice a month than to be stressed and do it in 5 minutes just because I finished the book and it needs to get back to the library. So this is kind of what I do when I'm about to return a book, which I am with this. But instead of pulling everything out and typing it into my computer, which I would do with a list of characters, I would put a list of characters in my document so that I can go back if I don't remember. I can just open my own document and be like, right, that's the main character's name, that's the protagonist, that's the antagonist, that's the whatever. And it's just so wonderful. It's a basic system with, I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of documents, and I don't track a lot of things, but that's what I track. And at some point, I think I'm gonna share with you guys what my reading journal looks like, maybe at the end of September, beginning of October, when I go through all the books I read in September, and I put them in there. So I've taken out the tabs and the post-its and put it in this new book that is mine. And then I saw at the end that I have some small tabs put in here with words, because I would like to I would like to decorate my reading journal pages a little bit more than I have been doing when I started it. So I stick like a tab in a book with something on it when I see there's something that is reoccurring. So here I have hummingbirds, because there are characters in this book that when they do things, there are hummingbirds doing it with them, for them, around them. So I put that at the beginning of this book. That would be great. And so I can like write or draw or download some pictures of hummingbirds and decorate my reading journal with. And I also have a tab that says mini dragons, because when the main character travels in this book, she comes to a new place where that is enchanted almost, and she's had heard stories before going there about the mini dragons, so they are really something that she is in wonder over when she gets there, and she really finds them all and looks at them all and just picks them all out of a crowd, and she shares a lot about that in the book. So I also put a tab with the word mini dragons, so I have some options when I want to decorate my reading journal later. So this means that this book is now ready to go to the library. And today is Wednesday, and I have scheduled myself to go to the library on Monday. Monday, I think, because some of the books are due Monday, so I have to go on Monday. There are some books there's one book due on Tuesday, one book on Wednesday, but Monday is good. And so I have read all the books that are due next week. Well, I haven't, because I haven't read this one yet. If I had stuck to my tabs, I would have finished it by Saturday. But I'm gonna take my time. And I picked this with a little fox, which is so funny because her name is Fox. Her last name is Fox. Evangeline Fox? Yeah. And I'm so happy that I picked this. I made this myself. It's just cardboard and some printed pages that I found on like Pinterest or something. And at some point I wish to, if it's not too damaged, put some plaster on it or something. So I put that in there and it's good to go. So that's kind of what I do when once in a blue moon I find a book that I'm like, I just need this, and I need it ASAP. So when that happens, I just order if I have the means to, then I order the book. If I don't have the means to, then I finish the book. I keep reading the book and I finish the book, and then my document on the computer with all the tabs mentioned will be like 8 pages. And then at some point, and I put it on my Willhöver list, my want/need list, and so that I at some point can buy the book. And then I will have a whole document with, yeah. So that's what I do. So I just wanted to share this, and I see now that I have forgotten to change my name. I use this name in other settings, but it is my name. My name is Caspian Koala. So that's fine. I just forgot. So yeah, have a lovely reading day, reading week. It's a full moon today when I film this, and I have some stuff to do, some people to see, and some books to read, and I hope you do too. And I'll see you in the next one. Tjingeling!